Turn on the news, open social media. Look at the headlines. It's everywhere. The war, the conflict that demands your attention, the battle that consumes every news cycle, every political debate, every conversation. But what if I told you this isn't the real story? What if the war you're watching is nothing more than a carefully placed distraction? Throughout history, wars have been used for more than just battlefields and borders. They've been shields, smokescreens, tactical distractions to keep the public looking one way, while something far bigger is happening behind the scenes. And right now, at this very moment, the same playbook is being used again. Do you remember 2001, when all eyes were locked on the war on terror? While the world was watching Afghanistan and Iraq, new surveillance laws were passed in secret, reshaping personal freedoms forever. And in 2003, the invasion of Iraq wasn't just about war. It was a cover for oil deals, financial shifts, and power realignments that no one was paying attention to. So let me ask you, what are they hiding this time? Because if history has taught us anything, it's this. When they make sure you're watching one hand, you'd better be paying attention to the other. So, what's the real story? Let's find out. Every channel, every headline, every tweet. The war dominates our screens, our conversations, and our thoughts. But have you ever paused to wonder, why is this conflict the centerpiece of our collective attention? Notice the uniformity, the repetition. Different networks, yet the narrative remains strikingly consistent. It's as if they're reading from the same script, but who authored it, and to what end? This isn't a coincidence. It's a calculated orchestration. The media, acting in concert, ensures that our focus remains unyieldingly fixed on the war. But to what benefit? In the grand game of power, controlling the narrative is akin to controlling the board. They divert our attention from moves made in the shadows by directing our gaze to the chaos of conflict. History is replete with examples where the media served as the drumbeat to which the public marched. During World War I, governments wielded films and pamphlets to rally nations, masking the grim realities of trench warfare. In Vietnam, televised carnage shifted public sentiment, leading to protests and policy changes. Today, the strategy has evolved, but the objective remains unchanged. Emotional manipulation is the key. These images are not mere documentation. They're instruments designed to elicit specific reactions: fear, patriotism, outrage. Such emotional appeals in language not only inform but also shape the narrative and ethos surrounding war reporting. When we're emotionally charged, we're less likely to question, to analyze, to see beyond the presented story. It's a classic tactic. Keep the populace emotionally engaged, and they'll be less inclined to notice the strings being pulled behind the curtain. So, as we consume the relentless stream of war coverage, we must ask ourselves, who benefits from our distraction? What decisions are being made unnoticed, and why are all the major outlets echoing the same refrain? While the world fixates on the unfolding conflict, beneath the surface, a complex web of hidden agendas emerges. Agendas that those in power would prefer remain concealed. Consider the realm of global finance. Wars often serve as convenient distractions, allowing for significant economic maneuvers to occur unnoticed. Take the 2008 financial crisis, for instance. As the world grappled with economic collapse, attention was diverted from ongoing conflicts and the policies enabling such financial instability. Similarly, during periods of intense public focus on external threats, governments have historically enacted sweeping policy changes with minimal scrutiny. In the aftermath of 9/11, the USA Patriot Act was rapidly passed, expanding surveillance capabilities in ways previously deemed unacceptable. Such moments of crisis provide fertile ground for the erosion of civil liberties, often under the guise of national security. Beyond finance and policy, wars have historically been catalysts for redefining global power structures. Conflicts often pave the way for military expansions, regime changes, and the redrawing of borders, all in the pursuit of strategic advantage. The current war is no exception. Under the pretext of defense, nations bolster their military presence in strategic regions, securing resources and influence. As the fog of war thickens, it's imperative to question the narratives presented. What financial deals are being brokered behind closed doors? Which laws are being enacted without public debate? How is the balance of power shifting while our attention is elsewhere? By looking beyond the immediate headlines, we begin to uncover the intricate tapestry of hidden agendas. A tapestry woven by those who understand that in distraction lies the greatest opportunity. As we peel back the layers of the narrative presented to us, subtle signs emerge, indications of orchestrated diversions and concealed truths. Consider the case of Jack Teixeira, a Massachusetts Air National Guard member who recently pleaded guilty to obstructing justice after leaking highly classified documents about the Ukraine war. Describing himself as a proud patriot, Teixeira claimed his actions aimed to expose misinformation by the administration, shedding light on the concealed realities of the conflict. Simultaneously, the financial realm exhibits peculiar movements. Key figures have been observed making significant asset reallocations, substantial stock sell-offs, and notable cryptocurrency transactions, actions that often precede major economic shifts. History, as our guide, reveals a pattern. During times of war, substantial policy shifts often occur under the radar. For instance, amidst the Gulf War, significant financial policies were enacted, reshaping economic landscapes without public scrutiny. Reflecting on past events, the Pentagon Papers leak unveiled how the U.S. government had misled the public about the Vietnam War, highlighting the lengths to which authorities might go to conceal ulterior motives. Whistleblowers, often at great personal risk, have historically stepped forward to reveal concealed agendas, challenging the narratives imposed by those in power. As we connect these dots, leaked information, unusual financial maneuvers, and historical precedents, a picture emerges that challenges the surface narrative. It prompts us to question, what deeper truths lie beneath the stories we're told? By scrutinizing these subtle signs, we begin to unveil the concealed machinations at play, encouraging a more informed and critical perspective on the events unfolding around us. As we stand at the crossroads of global events, a pressing question emerges. What lies ahead if the public remains ensnared by orchestrated distractions? When society's gaze is fixated on a singular narrative, the ramifications ripple through every facet of our lives. Financially, such diversions can cloak significant economic maneuvers. History has shown that during major news events, controversial policies often slip through unnoticed. For instance, studies reveal that politicians may strategically time controversial actions to coincide with major news events, effectively minimizing public scrutiny. Our freedoms, too, hang in the balance. In times of crisis, there's a documented tendency for governments to curtail civil liberties, often with minimal resistance from a populace preoccupied with other concerns. Moreover, while attention is monopolized by a prominent conflict, other pressing crises, be it environmental catastrophes, social injustices, or emerging conflicts, languish in the shadows, deprived of the awareness they desperately warrant. This brings us to a pivotal inquiry. If the war were shown as genuinely about the stated causes, why then do numerous other crises go unaddressed? The selective focus raises unsettling possibilities. Are these diversions crafted to advance agendas that might not withstand public scrutiny? In a world where information is both a tool and a weapon, discerning the truth becomes an act of vigilance. It's imperative to question, to seek beyond the presented narratives, and to remain ever watchful of the broader implications on our lives. Now that you've seen the bigger picture, the patterns, the distractions, the hidden moves, what do you think they're trying to hide? Think back to every time the world was told to focus on one thing, while something far bigger lurked beneath the surface. It's never just about war, about politics, about economic shifts. It's about control. Controlling what you see, what you believe, what you question, and what you don't. This isn't just about battlefields and borders. The real war is for your mind, your attention, and most importantly, your ability to see through the smoke. Now, here's where you come in. What's the truth they don't want us to see? What's slipping under the radar while the world watches chaos unfold? Drop your theories in the comments. Let's put the pieces together, because the more we question, the more power we take back. If you refuse to be distracted, hit that subscribe button, because once you see the truth, You can't unsee it. Stay awake. Stay aware. And most importantly, stay questioning.